Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Sky. I'm coming on joyfully today to tell you about the new moon in Aquarius that we will be having on January 22nd of 2023. I felt the urge to film this video today. I don't always make new and full moon installments, but this one is just coming in so strongly, so I wanted to come on and tell you all about it. Of course, to get some pretext for this particular installment, be sure to check out my previous video about the all planets direct phase happening from January 23rd until April 20th, where we will be having no retrogrades. Of course, this new moon in Aquarius is kicking off all planets direct, so I've been having some information that's coming in off the top of the previous video, so I'm excited to share it with you all today. Before we dive into it, everyone, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and I would also love to invite you over to my Patreon page. Kick off the new moon in Aquarius with a membership to my Patreon page. I do tea chats every week, forecasting the week ahead, and you get all of the readings early, ad-free, and with extended. It's a great value for the new year and for the new moon, so come check that out. I will link it below. Let's talk about the new moon in Aquarius. Okay, so there is a new cognition coming in this month. I'm going to go ahead and throw the chart up on the screen. There's a new cognition that we have. There's a new way that we can see the bigger picture. Certain old traumas are now becoming obsolete in our current life path. Okay, so you might be feeling leading up to the end of January as if you're having sudden realizations or sudden solutions come into your life. I find this to be a nearly miraculous energy, as many of us have gotten so stagnant or have gotten so stuck or hung up or snagged on certain old wounds or old pains. We had a major year of reckoning in 2022 with the Saturn-Uranus squares with the Jupiter-Neptune conjunctions regarding the way that we hold on to previous contexts, previous narratives, and derive power or energy from what it was that we were telling ourselves or what it was that happened to us before. Well, now a lot of that past orientation and a lot of that unyielding need to work out the previous knots, which was not all bad, that, however, is really changing here. And I wanted to set a space today to really mark that change that I feel is really coinciding with this new moon in Aquarius, because of course, as I mentioned in the All Planets Direct video, it's the planets of Uranus and Mercury in the signs of Taurus that both start and end the All Planets Direct phase that we have on January 23rd and then April 20th. So both of those planets are connected to Aquarius, especially Uranus. Uranus is the natural ruler of Aquarius, and it's going direct as well during this new moon. And that just kind of double doses the Aquarian energy. Also, while Mercury does not rule Aquarius, it rules Gemini and Virgo, the fact that it's retrograde in April ends the All Planets Direct phase kind of resonates with the Aquarian energy as well, as Mercury is the lower octave of Uranus. So it's really kind of a Sphinx-like time in a way. Aquarius can also be the archetype of the Sphinx, as this is the Leo-Aquarius axis, and the Sphinx likes to give a riddle. So I think that for everybody, there is the solution to a riddle here. There is a puzzle-solving kind of energy, and I think that leading up to this new moon, as we have an interesting quincunx between Mercury and Mars, which has us really seeing both sides of the situation and really having to question the merit of two different sides of an argument. It's a very kind of logical and cognitive time. So the main thing that I want to push through with this video is the health of our logical and cognitive capacities. This is the most important thing that we can work with right now. How is your diet and your health regimen supporting the health of your brain? Okay, the healthy brain is what we need here, the healthy neurological system. So this new moon in Aquarius is one of the best times to start a new diet, okay? This new moon in Aquarius is one of the best times to start not just a food diet. It is because, of course, we have the 14th and 15th degree of Taurus wrapping around this All Planets Direct phase. So typically, this time of the year is not the best time for a new food orientation, because the sign of Aquarius is much more about the mind, and it's also so close to the end of the zodiac, so it's kind of maintaining the long-running momentum. However, this year, I feel differently about it because of the all planets direct phase that starts now, and because of the way the sign of Taurus with Uranus and Mercury is influencing and curating the all planets direct phase. This is not just a food diet, though. This is also a thought diet. This is a media diet. This is a all-around consumptive diet change that I feel is so opportune to embrace now. I had written down, put away the brain-busting stuff. Anything that is like messing up your mental health, your logical capacity, anything that's contributing to that really societally popular attention deficit culture. Okay, let's take a second for that. That really popular attention deficit culture, where we have all of these different flashing lights and different noises and distractive things that lead us to have our minds kind of all over the place, you know? We can't hold our focus. And one of the demands of this all planets direct phase, in order to come through with like a life strategy or plan that works for anyone, is the ability to hold the focus. So Scorpios, Aquarius, all the fixed signs have somewhat of a rulership over this idea of like being able to really focus one issue and find a solution, or being able to really fill in the gap and optimize a system. Optimization of systems is something that we can really understand with this oncoming new moon in Aquarius. Leading up to it, throughout the 16th through the 21st of January, it's great to just kind of be mulling things over, and it's great to just kind of like think about the way that things turn out, about how sustainable the current life paths are. You know, what does this path look like 5 years from now? What does this path look like 10 years from now? We can't know for sure. I mean, there is always the way that God or the universe can come in and change things up without us understanding how that works. But I think that this is one of the only times I would recommend this type of long-term planning. And this is fine even up like a little bit past the equinox of 2023, where we will really need to be taking action though at that point in time and following through on what it is that we figure out now. So measurement. Measuring twice and cutting once is valuable now, all right? Not being super all over the place with how we execute decisions, with how we make especially like heavy or dense or gravitational decisions, like these big life decisions. We really need to measure twice and cut once. And for the people out there who are kind of like really confused, because that is a lot of people right now. Again, a lot of things have come up at once. A lot of life aspects are here over these next few months of all planets direct to be chosen around. Because of that, it can be overwhelming, or it can be actually augmenting of that sort of attention deficit culture, because again, we have like all these different things to figure out, so we might jump back and forth between them, and that's not what we're called to do with the fixed new moon of Aquarius. We're not called to really jump back and forth between a lot of different issues. We're called to really give each of these issues our full attention, our full held focus, and to really come through with options, concise options about how to move forward. This is about logic. This is about sober decision making. This is about very King of Swords, Queen of Swords energy, right? The Justice card. What else? Like the Temperance card. Being able to find these happy mediums as well. Being a really good judge over your own life experience. Not succumbing to whim, impulse, and emotional decision making. There are other times where we need to let our emotions rule us more. I would not say this is one of them. With Uranus, the sign of Aquarius, and Mercury being so prevalent right now, also Saturn getting so late in Aquarius, there's nothing that indicates like I've got to make an emotional call, or I've got to make a kind of like brazen or sudden or impulsive call. That's not here. We're going to be called to that over the next few years, about having to make these quick like mature emotional decisions when Saturn moves into Pisces. And that's why this time is really a gift, because we don't have to have that now. And I'm always talking about emotional healing and about really taking your emotions into account. That's a big part of what I do here on this channel. However, this time I don't think it's about that at all. And it's actually kind of nice to not let the emotions dictate us so much and to really take a logical and sharp and concise and balanced approach here. And by the time that we hit the new moon in Aquarius and we actually feel that energy, I think that if you haven't had it already, there's a new moral that is drawn. If you're doing really good right now, you're going to start seeing some of the old shadow, some of the old pain, some of the old stories really achieve new conclusions. It's almost like an alchemy, actually. It's like that one old wound, that one old like snag that you can't pass, just like now, almost like transfiguring into an easy understanding. That is possible right now. Like understanding also that how you've disempowered yourself before. That's hard for some people to experience here, but a lot of us are getting this type of insight where it's like, okay, that old puzzle that I had in my life, that old thing that I could not figure out, that old trauma was like a series of events where I put myself at the disposal of other people, where I subordinated myself to other people, where I looked to people who had obviously expressed themselves as antagonistic towards me as the holder of my own power or as the curator of my own knowledge. So there's a bigger thing, again, with the alchemy of Aquarius, about how we vest our well-being in other people coming up right now to be understood if that's happened and to sort of draw that narrative on top of that. So being able to take back your power here, that was also a lot of what the year of 2022 was about. But here it starts to really get clear why it is that we're taking that back, or why it is that we're reclaiming our own narrative, why it is that we're reclaiming also our cognition. I kind of feel that a larger like wave of, what would I even call it? Like lack of cognition or discognition is concluding now, and people have this ability to really understand things. It's a great window for clarity because we don't have retrogrades coming up, and we have this new moon in Aquarius, which is the sign of cognition, sign of clarity, sign of also alchemy and transference. So the archetype of Aquarius is transferring water from one canister to another. So something is being taken back in this 3-month period because of Uranus and Mercury starting the all planets direct during the new moon in Aquarius, during the movement to Aquarius season. We are transferring something here. We're reclaiming something here, but it's also very material because the way the sign of Taurus, as I talked about in the all planets direct video, it's not just ceremonial. It's not just symbolic. There is a material shift happening as well. And we want to understand that. And because there are like material things on the line, we have to be, again, really ready to solve things once and for all. And that is going to be very healing for a lot of people to have finally solved a riddle or a puzzle with this sort of like Sphinx-like energy coming in. Also fresh new ideas, okay, for people who are doing really good. So you get the next phase of like your journey here. You get to refresh, you get to redo things, you get to have almost like, for some people, a blank canvas to just kind of start creating new things with. And I think that's really hopeful for artists. I think that's really hopeful for anybody who wants to be more creative now. And it's just so refreshing. Also, if you see the chart, we have this on the new moon, Venus-Saturn conjunction as well. So we do have a critical eye about what we've created. So anything that you've already created, any systems that you've made in your life will get reviewed and will also be placed up for refreshment now. So you've had maybe a previous income structure, you've had a previous business, you've had maybe also just a previous way of thinking. Like if you see the cycles of your daily thoughts, like I wake up in the morning and I feel really confident, and then by the evening I'm like freaking out about things. Again, it's in the sign of Aquarius. We get to really see the truth of our thinking patterns, and we get to decide if we refresh those or not here. Things are up for change now. And it has to start in the mind. And then it will shift to the material. The Aquarius Taurus activation of this time suggests that. And that is a square. That is a 90-degree angle. So there can be a little like material / mental conflicts. Like, how do I fund this? How do I keep a solid baseline to continue on my really exciting momentum? All of that is stuff that we have to figure out here. And it's a bit of a puzzle, okay? It's a bit, I have written down, work hard on mental health and cognition, using logic, study, puzzle solving, riddles, things like crossword puzzles, or anything that, you know, like when people get like some type of neurological injury, it's important that they do things like studying or playing musical instruments or solving puzzles in order to reform and heal their neurological systems. I find that to also probably be very therapeutic right now. And so adding more of those things while decreasing things that have been identified by us as what I have written down, brain busting stuff. Okay, so knowing your own chemistry, knowing what causes you to flourish and what doesn't, knowing what you're putting into your body and how that affects your productivity, how it affects your state of mind. This is the area of healing right now. And you'll be really surprised at the progress you can make by being able to figure things out, essentially, and not getting stuck and hung up on things that really aren't that hard to solve, but are maybe romantic as being stuck, or just we're not healthy enough to let ourselves be in that state of clarity. So that's about all that I have for us right now, everyone. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I just wanted to come on quickly and talk about the new moon in Aquarius. Again, I invite you to check out my Patreon page below. This is the best time of the year to come check it out. It's the new year. It's the new moon. I post really wonderful content. It's very reasonable. There are a few different membership options, and you get a lot of content, and it makes all of this work possible. So go check out the Patreon page. It's linked below. And yes, subscribe if you're new. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful lead up to new moon in Aquarius and all planets direct. Bye.